Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a pretty quick little project that I think anybody can really pull off with just some basic hand tools like a jigsaw, a drill, and a couple other things. So we're going to get started building this bookshelf by taking a wood panel. Now there's a couple different ways that you could do this project. I figured the most basic way that I think most people can handle on their own would be to buy this wood panel. This is a 1 foot by 6 foot panel. You can buy this at your local hardware store. And we're basically going to cut that in half so that we have a 3 foot bookshelf. To do that, we're going to take our tape measure, measure out 3 feet. Now we're going to take our combination square, which I just happen to have this really long one. I don't have anything shorter. And scribe off our line. Now we're going to take our jigsaw, and I'm going to take a straight edge. So we're going to take this piece of scrap molding that I have here, and we're going to take our jigsaw and line it up like so on the line. You can take our clamp. Now I'm only clamping this one side for the moment. Take our speed square. Make sure that we're square. All right, so we have our panel cut out here. Came out pretty nice. Now you want to try and pick which side looks the best, because that will be your up side. So I think these look pretty even, but this looks slightly better. So this is going to be our front. Now I really like this tool. It's a Kreg jig. If you've never seen one, there's plenty of videos out here on YouTube that you can go check out on how it works. But it basically is going to create a perfect hole that you can put a screw in, and it'll create a really strong joint. So I took the panel and I divided it into 4 sections. So that way I get my pocket holes fairly symmetrical. Not that it really matters because you won't see it, but it's just a better way of doing things. Now we're going to take the board and our jig, and then there's a bunch of different holes on the jig. I'm using a B, and I've already set my depth and drill gauge, or the drill gauge, to the proper depth. So you just kind of lock it in there like that. I have a piece of scrap here to kind of support it on the one side. So now we're just going to take our drill and drill the pocket hole. All we do is simply move down to the next one. Now we're just going to repeat the same steps on the opposite side. All right, we can put this piece aside for a minute and get our next section, which is going to be our fascia boards. So I actually lied a little bit on the dimensions. It's 35 7/8. So for our front piece, we want to make 35 7/8. We can mark that off. Use our combination square to draw a line. So now I'm going to get the chop saw and we're going to cut that. Our 2 side pieces will be 13 5/8. So get that measured out here. Okay, so you're going to repeat those processes 4 times so you have 4 shelves. Now we're going to start assembling some of these shelves. The pocket holes make life so easy. We're just going to take the front piece here, take one of our special pocket hole screws, take our impact, The nice thing about this DeWalt driver that I have here, it has a nice mode for putting screws in so that you don't just blow out the joint. It kind of nicely, softly puts the screw in. Like I'm pulling the trigger there and it just stopped itself. Obviously if you put it in the other modes, it'll absolutely destroy the screw. Probably go right through the wood. Now that we have our shelves made, we're going to stain each of the shelves. I started with using a Min-Max wood conditioner to kind of get the wood ready for a stain. Basically, just apply this and let it dry for 20 minutes. Moving on to our stain, I'm using a Min-Max Early American stain. I really like the way that this stain brings out the dark, rich colors of the wood. Now I applied one coat, and I certainly should have applied a second coat in some areas, but it still came out looking really good, and I'm happy with the result. After giving the stain proper time to cure, I came back and added 2 coats of polyurethane. I really like the way that this polyurethane looks. It has a satin, glossy finish to it, and that was really the look that I was going for. While our shelves are curing, I have an 8-foot section of angle iron that I picked up in my local hardware store. This stuff is really great to work with. It's not super hard, so you can cut it pretty easily, and you can drill into it pretty easily. So I'm just basically cutting this in half so I have a 4-foot section, and that will be the final height of my bookshelf. Now that we have our sections, I wanted to do something for the feet to protect it if it's ever sitting on a hardwood floor. I don't want the steel to scratch my floor up. So I'm using something called Plasti Tool Dip, and I found this stuff really works great. The key to making it work really well is going really slow. They tell you 1 inch every 5 seconds. And I found that to be about true. So the slower you go, the less drippage that you'll have as you pull it out of the container. And I did 2 coats of this. Moving on, I started to drill the holes for each shelf level. Now you can see here that I've already drilled out 1 leg, so I'm using it as my gauge to drill out all the other legs. This was seriously one of the most time-consuming parts of this build, drilling and countersinking each hole. I think it was something like 32 holes altogether. We're done our holes. I went outside and I applied some rust-oleum clear coat to my metal surface to make it so it looks original, but it's not going to rust, because if you leave it uncoated, it's going to rust on you, and that's not what you want. I'm going to take this long clamp here, and we're just going to put that right there like so. Now we're going to take our level here and make sure that before we go screwing in, good and level that way. It needs to come like that. All right, I'm happy with that. So I'll take our drill, line it up here. Just double check one more time. looks good right there. Just take a furniture screw. Put it in there like that. I'm using a regular screwdriver here, not a drill, because I want more precise control over what happens here. If you just zip it in there with an impact or a drill, it's I got the bookshelf all flipped over, and I put the second shelf, or the bottom shelf, down here. Now I just used some 2x4s as spacers, and that got me pretty close to where I want it to be. And now we're just taking our level and making sure that before we go ahead and screw everything together, that each leg is square and level. Now I'm going through each one. That one, the whole thing needs to be racked. If you have some ratchet straps, I would highly recommend using those to try and pull it in the direction that you want to pull it. I don't have any available at the moment, so I am just doing it this way, and it'll work. It just takes a little more patience. And if you have help, that will definitely make this process go a little quicker. So I'm basically doing the same thing, taking the drill, drilling out the hole, and putting a screw in. There we go, guys, it's all done. It was a great little beginner project for this shop. The shop is brand new. I spent the last year putting it together, and it's still not done. I still have a lot of work to do, but it's a start. If I missed anything in the video, please let me know in the comment section. I know this is the first time I've really filmed myself doing projects like this, and it is a big challenge. I've been filming Nana's Cookery for the past 6 years, and it really gives me a new appreciation for us to be able to have two people, one person working on cameras and lighting and sound, and then the other person just being able to focus on their craft and making sure that the audience, you guys, get all the information that you need to build projects like this. So if you like this video, please don't forget to hit subscribe, like, comment down below, and I will see you in the next project.